first? Thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's
Oh, is that one?
you're in the situation that we were in. I mean, it's really, it's more a relief than it was enjoyable. But you know, we really appeal to the girls' nature during the course of the week, and then today it's going to tug at the heartstrings a little bit. So we could pull together and sort of, you know, stop the downward spiral. And effort, they were an absolute, you know, 10 out of 10. Concentration, you know, we lost our concentration a few times, and attitude, they were a 10 out of 10. So soccer-wise, you know, if I look at it, the goals were good, but our build-up was, you know, it lacks substance. We still need work on our defending, but our defending is far better in the run of play than in the previous games because we made some matchups for players. So I think we still need to give a lot of direction to the team in terms of what to do. And then kudos to Leanne and Heather. I mean, they worked unbelievably on both sides of the ball. You can't really ask for more. And then we gave Chelsea Stewart a chance, and she was steady. So that was also a plus. And we got Kem on the field for the first time, albeit just a short period. And she's been really catching her rhythm now in practice a little bit, just picking up. But it was nice to see that when it was all hands on deck, I didn't have to say anything to her. She knew what to do. She went back and fought and dug the ball out for us. And then, you know, short of that, if all things fell to us the way they could have, I mean, Lisa Devanna could have had a hat trick tonight. She really caused a lot of disruption to New Jersey's backline. I was a little surprised by New Jersey. You know, they had played fairly defensively in both the first two matches, and I knew they were tight at the back, and I was kind of happy to see that Rampone wasn't in the starting lineup. But they came on top of us. They adjusted their formation. They had sort of been playing a hybrid of the 4-3-3 with the 4-5-1. They came with two strikers, and that's not how we really had prepared the team. But all credit there to Ashley Grove. She did a really good job stepping in, and I think she really made a case for herself as the pairing with Kat, which was also a concern. Other than that, I mean, I think Christy Lewis is a match or two away, and I think that's going to help balance our team because it gives us a solid left-sided player, gives us a little depth in the midfield. So just when it starts to look like we're putting things together, we have national team call-ups that are eminent. So it's going to give a chance to some of the other players, and it'll be back sort of like our preseason roster again, albeit that we're not playing college teams. You know, it's nice to win. I enjoy winning.
When is national team signups, call-ups occurring?
I think on the 4th, right?
Yeah, third.
Third and fourth players are going on different dates. I think Lisa Devanna will go a little earlier because she's got to get on the other side of the world. You know, so it's a bit of a disruption to momentum, but it's going to give some of the younger players a chance to step in.
How do you plan on being able to potentially counterbalance the national players leaving?
Sort of how we did in preseason, and we had created a pretty good rhythm of play in the preseason, and then, you know, we wanted to put our best foot forward in Seattle and drop those players because it would seem unnatural not to insert those national team players into the lineup. But only Lisa elected to stay on the bench. You know, she felt coming from Australia, she was still jet lagged. You know, it was quite natural. It's going to be a good opportunity, and then we'll fill in because our reserve team is just starting to get up to speed in terms of bodies, and there's been a few girls that have been out training with us already. So, you know, hopefully we can, you know, we can push some players into the starting lineup and push some players from the reserve team to fill out the rest of the squad, and you know, I don't think we're going to be too bad off actually.
How does it feel getting your first win of the season, not to mention the first win of your Breakers tenure?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a relief. As I said before, I mean, it feels It feels good. It's good to win. I think that we have a lot more soccer in us. You know, I think we actually played better from an attacking standpoint against, from a build-up point against Houston. You know, so if I could put the build-up of Houston with the goal chances here and the defending, then I would be a much happier person. So I'm going to go home and I'm going to relax and I'm going to have a glass of wine. I'm going to wind down. I'm going to take about 4 or 5 leaves and I'm going to hydrate before I go to bed. But then I'm going to probably wake up at about 4 a.m. and start thinking about how I'm going to put the team back together for next week.
What were the adjustments that you worked on in the past 2 weeks from the past 2 matches, not only to win today, but to win well?
First of all, you know, out of the run of play, we assigned some, well, we changed Jazz and Julie. So we tried to really look at the matchups and how we could get the most out of those 2 players that brought Julie into the game. More from an attacking standpoint, she had a little more space, and Jazz really did a good job, you know, because it's a good speed matchup. Jazz does really well defensively. And then bringing Ashley in, we knew we could ask her to mark a certain player. And she only missed her mark once. Unfortunately, it was a counterattack goal. But she really did a good job marking. And then we asked Jo just to play behind the line of the ball, and we gridded out an area for her, and she was really effective today. And in the previous games, our midfield was running all over the place, and we sort of counterproductive. So we improved our assignments and we improved our positioning. And then the other goal was to get Leanne, Heather, and Lisa closer together around the ball. You know, and that was, I mean, I think we were, you know, a foot shy of 5 or 6 goals today.
Yeah.
You know, so we ended up being a counterattack team. And we were worried about their counterattack. We were going to counter their counter, but Lisa gave us a good dimension in terms of stretching, and then that frees, you know, 2 really quality players underneath, and the defense held. And that's what it takes to win. That's what it takes, you know.
Speaking of Lisa, she was all over the field tonight. Whether it was in Boston's end, New Jersey's end. What were your thoughts as to how, like, her heart and determination just keeping going the entire game, all 90 minutes?
I'm not going to lie to you, Lisa is a handful. She is a box of toys. She is a very quirky individual, but we are developing a very good rapport. I do a lot with her via email, and I think she's I think it's been a real plus because she's had a kind of a buy-in. We sat down last week to talk, and straight from the heart, she told me that she was struggling. She told me the things that she was struggling with, you know, with Australia's national team being replaced, and she swore up and down to me that she would never let me down in the match. And she was true to those words, and then I complimented her on that, and she started giving us a little more in practice. Occasionally some biblical language sneaks out, but you know, it shows me that she cares quite a great deal. So you know, I think we're on the right path with Lisa. And I thought if she get her account open right now, it would have been great for us, but she was close, no cigar.
And then, how about